FCS parents. This is just a quick video recapping what we discussed at our parent feedback night. Many of you were not able to attend, we understand that, but I wanted just to run through really quick the highlights of what we talked about. So here we go. We mentioned a few calendar items. Of course, tomorrow night is our school play, as well as on Saturday at 2. Reminder, there was no Memorial Day or no school on Memorial Day. We have our Discovery Kingdom trip coming up, so tickets need to be purchased for that. We have our kindergarten graduation on Thursday, June the 5th at 10, followed by our awards chapel at 11. School is out at noon for the summer. And then the following day, we have our 8th grade and 12th grade graduations from June 6th, or on June 6th, 8th grade at 2 o'clock and 12th grade at 7 p.m. We also reminded everybody that yearbook orders were due no later than the 5th. We have a hardback yearbook this year, so the price went up by $5. But you're going to be excited about the quality, I'm pretty sure. We also talked about just a review of improvements, just a handful of them we talked about from this past year. Of course, our Ignitia curriculum, 3rd grade and above, got a massive improvement on the student side, the student interface. As always, we're constantly upgrading and refining curriculum as we continue to teach it and find the better ways to teach our students. Many of you have seen our new website at fcslions.com. We're excited about that. Of course, we added a bunch of after-school clubs. School play already mentioned. The new staff that we employed this year just fitted in fantastically. And of course, we continue to grow the second half of this year, getting new students in our student body. We talked about the fact that we had just sent out 12,000 postcards to the greater Fairfield area advertising our school and preschool, and we're already getting several calls off of those. And we have extras in the office if you want to have something in your hand to hand a friend or a family member or whatever that might have students to enroll. It's a good advertising piece. Please just stop by the office and pick up as many as you need. We also talked about how many of you kept up on the fact that I finished my master's degree this year. My thesis was on individualization and mastery learning and education. And so we're actually turning that into a book. And so for every family that re-enrolls for next year, you're going to get this at back to school night called Building Strong Foundations. And it really explains the educational philosophy of our school. So I hope you enjoy that gift. And even more than that, I hope you read it. We give a quick update on accreditation. We're in our 6-year cycle, doing very, very well. Just completed our first year since accreditation. So we've got 2 years left until our 3-year visit, and of course 5 years left until a full accreditation visit again. Teachers and parents and staff members have all met in committees throughout the year, constantly talking about ways to improve our school and to act upon the committee's recommendations. And our board will act on those recommendations this summer, going very, very well. Now we are the only dual accredited school in Fairfield and Suisun City. We're it. There's nobody else. And of course now, instead of being K through 12, we've added our preschool, which we'll talk about in just a second. We just finished our Terra Nova testing. You should have all those results at home already. If you haven't, just contact the office. And we are compiling them right now school-wide, and we'll release that data very, very quickly to you. All right, so what's coming for 2014-2015? Just a few things. We are adding at least one classroom. So our classrooms will be broken up a little bit differently. We'll have a solo kindergarten class and then a 1st and 2nd grade class. We've hired a new teacher for that. 3rd and 4th grade, 5th and 6th. 5th and 6th will be Miss Fiona. 3rd and 4th is Mrs. Harvey. 7th and 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We have 4 teachers up there. Again, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But excited to continue to expand. In fact, one of those classrooms may actually split again if we continue enrolling the way that we are. All right, I mentioned that we have the brand new launch of Fairfield Christian Preschool. Very excited about that, so please spread the word, trying to get the word out there that we are open, people finding out where we are. We do need to obviously enroll a certain number of students, but it is going well, and we're very, very excited about the launch of our preschool. Our director is Mrs. Arlene Siebert, who worked at Vacaville Christian School in that department for over 30 years. The wealth of experience she brings is phenomenal, and we are beyond blessed to have her get our preschool off the ground this year. All right, new staff I mentioned. 1st and 2nd grade, our new staff member is Kathy Powell, has taught for well over 20 years. She's been on campus, shadowed our teachers, loves us, we love her already. And so we've extended an invitation, which she has accepted, to Kathy Powell to be our 1st and 2nd grade teacher for the coming school year. Very excited about that. Justin Boulay, who's already been on campus, helping us out is going to expand under Mr. Voice's supervision and expand into high school science, and then adding a bunch of media, music, band, choir, all kinds of stuff for next year that we are thrilled about. And Mr. Justin Boulay is going to oversee all of that for us in the afternoons. And then Sean Fortney, many of you have probably heard by now that Mr. Nick Pokswinski, who is our current Dean of Students and our Bible and History teacher, is not going to be returning. Everything's fine. He just has a full-time ministry job at his church in Davis, and we are very sad to see him go, but we are releasing him to that call in his life. But God has already provided. Sean Fortney, who has been a part of our church for years now, is a graduate of Sac State, has been involved in a few different fields, including, and you will hear about this, our kids were kind of excited about it, he is now will be by then, a former tiger trainer at Discovery Kingdom. And we figure if he can handle tigers, he can handle kids. But no, he does have a solid education, and he's excited to get involved with us this year. So he's going to take Mr. Pokswinski's place, as well as assist me with some administration in the office. So very excited that Sean is going to join our family. All right, another highlight we talked about is tuition increases this year, only $50. I know some people have read it and maybe not quite understood what we're doing. Simply, it's this. $50 tuition increase, that's it. However, we are billing the fish and fundraising at the beginning. So instead of separate invoices, it's now just included in tuition. Parents still have the opportunity to raise money through fundraisers, still have the opportunity to raise credits through volunteering hours on campus, and as those are raised or served, then they will be deducted from an account. So nothing has changed except that we're doing it from the beginning and not having a bunch of multiple invoices and some of them go past due and all that kind of mess. So your cost, if you choose to participate in fish and fundraising, literally only going up $50 this year. If you have any questions about that, please just ask. And that really is about all we have for you, except I want to mention some of the questions and ideas that came from our parents. So let me just read a few of them here to you. The best thing about FCS, people said, our parents said, an excellent education, family atmosphere, the fact that our school is Christ-centered, I would say amen to that. Our staff, they love our small class sizes, they love the field trips that we do with the kids throughout all the grades, and then the focus on individual learning. In fact, one parent said that we're even more than a family, which it warms my heart, so thank you. And then they had a few questions, so I'm going to read these and answer them as quickly as I can. Will most of our teachers return? We talked about that, went through that one. They asked why our Bible course is in King James. That's a great question. Bottom line is our curriculum provider, who we love, only provides King James at this time. We have asked multiple times. They have considered and are considering expanding that in the future. There's also some opportunities in our custom course features that we can change some of that, so we're pursuing that as we move ahead as well. But we do our best to do everything else outside the curriculum in something a little more understandable for the kids. So we share that one, we understand it. There's just not a whole lot that we can immediately do about it, but we are trying to work toward some more options. Parents ask, why are we purchasing computers next year? It's also a great question. The easiest answer to that question is, computers get outdated. Most of our computers are now 4 or 5 years old. And so I have one of two choices. I can either raise your tuition to charge for replacing those computers, because we charge enough to repair, we don't charge enough to replace. Or we can do what a lot of schools are doing, which is bring your own device, moving to a bring your own device model. And we realize that we've got some kinks to work through. We talk through those. But a lot of parents already have, laptops or full-size tablets at home that they're willing to allow the students to use. And so in the long run, we're really actually saving money for you by not raising tuition. We are selling off many of our laptops at the end of this year for just $100 a piece. So if you would like to take advantage of that, just call the office, talk to Ashley. She'd be glad to get you on the list. All right, and then they ask about why we don't use or allow cell phones on campus. Bottom line is, it's just too much. Kids can get distracted. Quite honestly, they can pull up things they shouldn't be looking at, and we want them focused on school while they're there. And I always have a parent ask, well, how am I supposed to get a hold of my child if I need to? Well, probably the way that we did when we were in school is they called the school office. Now, obviously, we allow the kids to have their phones with them, their backpacks and things, so if there's ever an emergency, a lockdown situation or whatever, they'll have access to their phones, they can get them out, and they can use their phones anytime as long as they ask permission first. A lot of times we'll send them to the office to use a school office phone, but so it's not as if they absolutely can't use them. So we're just trying to maintain an academic atmosphere that's strongly conducive to learning. So we understand the concern, but hopefully you'll be able to support us on that. And then we talked about some ideas for next year. After school sports, we are actually starting after school sports. That's another thing Mr. Sean Fortney is bringing to the table for us. He's an avid sports enthusiast. He's also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so we'll have to deal with that. But he is going to help us get after school sports started this coming year. Ask about uniforms, what was going on with our new structure in our clothing for next year. Hopefully you've got that figured out by now. If not, call the office. I won't try to detail all this stuff here, but Ashley can help you with that. But basically we relaxed it. We made it cheaper for you because you don't have to buy things directly through us anymore. We just have a basic, we still have school spirit wear available in certain days, the kids can wear certain things, but it is quite a bit different than this current year. So if you have questions about that, please just call the school office and we'd be glad to explain it to you. That's the highlights. We talked about a few other things, but that was pretty much it in a gist. I know I'm talking 100 miles an hour because I didn't want you to have to watch a video for 20 minutes. So if you have any questions about that or suggestions that you weren't able to bring to the table because you weren't there, weren't able to attend, please just call the school office and let us know. God bless you guys. Thank you for trusting us with your kids, and hopefully we'll see you next year.